Finally take my hood off, open everything back up. It had started to rain, and so I put everything away, and then it stopped like 1 minute after putting everything away. I was like, well, classic, that was dumb. Went and got some lunch, came out. As I'm setting up, it starts to rain, just kind of sprinkling. I'm like, it's probably gonna pass. And I just sat here in like hard rain for a few minutes, everything getting soaked, and it just didn't stop. And so I went and put my stuff in the car. About the time I got in my car, look at the sky, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna stop raining. And it did. So that's nice. Anyways, let's go ahead and shoot some clay pigeons and maybe a little bit of steel at 330 yards using that Continental 3-18 first focal plane. We're gonna do a tripod shooting today because when I get this close, I just like to try something a little different. Shooting out of the prone all the time is fun for some things, but with targets like these, I just want to add one more dynamic to it and make it a little bit more practical. This is one way I can do it. So we're gonna be up about, if I remember right, usually around 14 mils. Well, it's in the winter. Let's say 13.5 to start it off. I've got my first revolution that has popped up on there, and I'm not into a second revolution just yet. I will use my binoculars here with the spotter, and we'll record that so you can see what's going on downrange. First few shots here, I'm gonna throw some at the clay pigeon above 14, the highest one. We'll see where these land. Oh yeah, length of pole, I changed that. Since last time I shot, I had made an adjustment here. Luckily, I have this KRG. Thank you to KRG for sending this out to the channel. Really makes everything much more comfortable. Here we go on that top clay. Let's see what I can do. 13.5 mils. I can do nothing. Apart from Christ, here we go. Now it's chambered. Okay, that's quite low. And we're recording, very good. Those are 2.5 mils low. So we're gonna go up 1, and I'm up to 15, and that's where I'm maxed out at right now. So from here, it's gonna be reticle holdover. I am gonna push it up to 16 power, and we'll just do holds. There's plenty to work with in this reticle. Probably should have cleaned this gun before coming out here, huh? Didn't realize how gunky this thing had gotten. There it is. All right, so we're kind of in the ballpark even with that wind. That's pretty close. I do not like those standard deviations. And I think my brass is hitting the camera every time. I'm gonna have to move that around in a second. Let's give it whatever is left in here, 4 more. Those are fairly close. They're not real far away. I'm holding about 8 tenths and 2 tenths for wind. Yeah, not the best performance of a 22 with that ammo, but actually my image is good and I can stay in the glass pretty comfortably. Image looks good, colors are looking decent. I would actually say sharpness is decent. I know this is a combination of HD glass and some sort of more premium glass. it actually seems pretty good. I think I'm happy with it, and I am happy with that reticle, no doubt. How about some impacts on steel? I do have a hit indicator on there. Not sure how well it's going to work. It's really beat up. You know what? Let's go to holds. 16 mils was roughly what I'm looking for, and on 12 power, I can just barely make that out. Let's go to 10 or 11-ish. And here we go. Holding over 16 mils on the silhouette. Just left. Impact. Did not. I heard it. I saw it. Did not activate that light though. Just left. Nice big windage holds. I'm going to hold a mil right. There's that light. Impact, but no light. It's kind of normative with rimfire in my experience. Is it's hit and miss past 200 yards with thick steel on those Caldwell impact indicators, whatever they're called. Impact. 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 So holdovers are going pretty good for the most part on a target that big, and they should. All right, so I just take my, I've got a Sunway Photo like magnet pad on the back of my phone. I can usually just throw it on my binoculars really fast. But I'm gonna try to make this work in the side shot scope cam. It's a little tricky. Every time I do this, I kind of have to readjust it because if I use one phone or another, I've got more than one that I use. I probably just need to suck it up and buy one of the electronic ones. I've reached out to try to get one sent out for channel content because obviously I'm always making long range stuff, and they'll give me a discount, but they won't send one out, and I just can't. It's expensive. Like, it's just prohibitive for me to do stuff like that. Actually, people think that YouTubers are like always rich. It's a funny thing. People will be like, "Well, you're making so much money off that stuff." Nope, not how it works. Sure, somebody is out there, but it ain't me, buddy. Go ahead and hit record on here. And for your sake, I'm going to back it out to 8 power, just so you can see a little better what I'm doing, because the camera's going to clip some of that. So let's go 330, and just going for that silhouette again. Let's hold about a mil to start with. Low. Are we having a change? Oh, I did switch ammo. What am I thinking? Yeah, I did. There's an impact. Looks like we're up to 17, holding a half mil. Impact. 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 Very low, bad charge. Okay, that was kind of interesting. Real briefly, I just want to show you that on 3 power, get insane field of view. It looks really good. I'm not going to monkey with the illumination because I don't believe you'll be able to see it. This is what it looks like on 6 power. And 8 power, 10 power, 12, 16, and that's what you're looking at with 18 power. Nice bold reticle. I appreciate that very much. Still fine enough with that center dot that I can hold and favor things, reasonably well. The Stadia themselves are, I would say, easy to pick up because 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 is a very regular increment for most guys who shoot mills. They're going to be familiar with that, and it's easy to be fast with. Sorry, just to clarify, 2/10 breakups, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, meaning one full mill. So looking at the Stadia down below, looking around that first quadrant of 1 mil, you're going to have a half mil breakup there, which is really convenient for, one of the most common holds you're going to have around that cross in the middle. Okay, watching for that revolution indicator here. I'm going to go up. It's going to be shaky, but let's record with both cameras. So we're up to 10, and there it is. I think you can even see it on the camera right there. There's that nub, and I'm going to go up to 15 and just stop right at 15. I don't want to push it beyond the functional ends of range of travel, what's good for the scope or not. And there we go. Let's see what I can do. I'm just going to hold 1 mil, and yeah, I'm just going to hold 1 mil with this ammo. I don't know exactly where this one hits. It's got to be close. Little low, a little bit right. Let's hold right on the head with that 1 mil hold. Little low, little left. Same. It's an impact. It's another impact. Man, I am having so much trouble with this. I'm sorry, guys, about this review. Having feeding trouble left and right. Aside from being dirty, sometimes I just have to filter through poor quality ammo. It's not the best. Optic, however, is doing pretty fine. I'm going to go with right about there. Impact. Impact. Miss. One more time, and then I'm going to have to take this guy aside and clean it. Different ammo, see what this will do. Impact. Impact. Impact, impact. Triple impact. Impact. Okay, hopefully you can see those. Empty. Yeah. Probably got to stick to the good stuff. It shoots this crazy tight. I'm really happy with the SK Biathlon ammo in this setup. It's actually some of the tightest shooting stuff I've ever had. Anyways, reliability is always a little higher with it too. Hopefully you could tell that when I'm looking through this on 18 power, the image isn't degraded. I think the glass supports the 3 to 18 power. I think the eye box looks pretty good on 3 power and pretty good on 18 power. And it looks, I would say, great at 10 power. No real concerns there. I actually think it's a nice piece of glass for that range. Could you take the same piece of glass and put it in a 6 to 36 or a 5 to 40? Probably not. I would doubt it. But as far as brightness of the image, contrast downrange, I'm going to say I'm pleased. I don't think I'm disappointed. And I'm not seeing just a flatness. There's a lot of optics that are like, let's say, sub $1,000, where it might have some of the function, it might have decent turrets or features, but some of those budget optics can be a little bit flat in the image. And the only way to really know is just to compare side by side with other optics. This one seems to give a little bit more crispy detail than others. If you're concerned at all or you have questions about tracking, I would check out, there's some other channels that have done tracking tests specifically. I'm not doing that, but I know that I am probably within, it's kind of hard because it's windy, but I'm within a percentage or two of what I expected to be at. So no real big surprises thus far as tracking goes at 330, and I'm up, about 16 mils. How about those clays that are kind of together right above like 14 underneath the silhouette? Oh no, couldn't do it. It is what it is. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about what I think is really going on here. That makes sense, who it's for, and all that. The design of the scope is a decent design. Like I said, I can't speak to the tracking. I haven't really done a full box test and all that. Just looks like it's pretty close to my original data. On a 0 MOA rail, I still have 15 mils. I assume that if I throw this on a 30 MOA, a 40, 45 MOA, 55 MOA, I have a few different rails to play with. If I throw it on one of those, I'm going to get a lot more internal elevation because it has 44 mils available from what I understand. That's a lot. If I throw that other turret cap on there, it's uninhibited. That's really cool. So if you're getting into long range shooting and you're on a budget, I don't know many people who aren't, but if you are on a budget, then you can have lots of internal elevation. You can have a wide field of view. You can have decent magnification. You can have lots of holdover, and you can have a zero stop with multiple revolution indicator. You can have some illumination for, like, let's say when it's kind of dark out, and then a parallax that goes from 10 yards to infinity. Locking turrets lift to operate on both of them. I think that's a pretty nice package, and this came with rings. That's a steal. It's a good deal. I think it's a really good deal, especially for people who are, budget conscious right now. This seems like a decent configuration for NRL 22, NRL Hunter, and folks who are trying to get out, do some long range stuff, and you don't need that 56 millimeter objective because you're not going to be so worried about shooting in lower light. You're probably more focused on the feature set of having lots of internal elevation and reaching out pretty far. This is a good scope for those applications. PRS, NRL Hunter, NRL 22, all of that seems to make good sense to me. And people who just want to target, shoot, and plink, absolutely. 18 power, totally enough for you. So hunting, on the hunting application side, yes, it's a 34 instead of a 30. It's 50. So with a 50 millimeter objective, I can get decent light in the lowish light settings. But going down to 3 power, one of the most important parts here, let's go ahead and lock this. One of the most important parts here is on 3 power, I can still see the reticle. I can still tell where I'm aiming, close or far. It's bold enough, and it does have, some illumination for when it's dark out. I think that's a really important factor. Low power matters a lot for hunting because of field of view and unexpectedly close shots. I just saw a video the other day of somebody taking a grizzly at like 12 yards. Having low power really makes a difference. All right, I'm just finishing zeroing, and I've got the box here. It's a really big oversized box for this 3-18 Continental from Vector Optics. And kind of cool, some information inside of this. You do have your user manual and a warranty card just to remind you about this. Lifetime warranty covers everything. You get a little patch in there, as well as a sunshade, which I don't need right now. you do have an extra turret if you're into that and you want to remove the revolution indicator, which also functions as like a zero stop. Internally, you do have a lens cloth, and then you have this tool, which is for resetting your turrets. I've never done it with this scope. Let's see how it goes. It'll do the trick. And inside, it's really simple. So I'm familiar with this. All you have to do is rotate the inner wheel all the way until it stops, like so. That inner wheel in there, that's what I was just doing. I rotated that around, and you'll notice on the other side that dropped down my revolution indicator, which had popped up. And now I can go ahead and set it back on 0 and get that witness line and see if it matches up exactly. And it does. Matches up exactly. That's nice to see. That's actually really important nowadays. I just think it's expected that all witness lines need to match up exactly. Snug it down and check zero stop. Yep. And then let's check that revolution indicator. We get to 10 and let's see it pop up. Yep, there's the first one. This thing has 44 mils of internal elevation, but I'm on a 0 MOA base. So I am not going to get that much on my 0 MOA base, but at least I get something. Looking at 10 mils per revolution, and I'm going to max out at 15. So I'll have 15, but then the reticle has an immense amount of holdover available, so not too concerned about that. Now I'm going to switch the windage.